So I'm Fran and I'm an organisational and business psychologist. And I work with a number of organisations worldwide. I never know where I'm going to be from one week to the next. And we offer, the reason our business is called Aha Moment, is that our best hope really for anybody that works with us is that after they have been in the programme with us, they will walk away from there and actually experience their aha moment. So the brain, I'll do a bit of psychobabble too. The brain's quite an interesting thing in that if messages come into our prefrontal cortex and if it goes left for logical thinking, that process goes quite quickly, it's sort of quite fast. However, if you send it right for some creative thinking, often that doesn't come until you're in a really sloppy kind of thinking phase. When you're driving, when you're about to get in the shower, it will come or just before you go to sleep, which is very annoying, but it will come when you least expect it. And that creative solution is what we call an aha moment. So it comes to you when you kind of least expect it, so hence why our business is called Aha Moment. So what we do, we work with a number of organisations and in 6 main fields really. We work in change management and we work with organisations that know they need to change something. It might be behavioural, it might be process. There's 3 main people in our organisation. We've all got different skills. One of us is lean, I'm psychology, and my other colleague is very much into kind of leadership development as well. So basically, we go to an organisation, they will talk about what change, where they are now, what they want to do in the future, and what's the gap, and then we'll work out what is it we need to do, and look at a kind of a diagnosis first of all, and then put interventions in place that are sustainable. We also work a lot around employee engagement, looking at employee engagement surveys and what the results were, and actually how we can practically make that into things that are going to change your organisation. Again, a lot of that is around behaviours, how people feel like they belong, and that type of thing. I'm also a psychotherapist, so I work with people one-to-one. I've got a clinic in my hometown, and I don't actually know where coaching stops and psychotherapy starts. It's kind of, I don't know when I'm working with people. I've been doing it that long now, I don't know. But what they actually say is that psychotherapy is the past and subconscious, and coaching is the future and conscious. But as I say, there's a kind of, I don't really know. I don't know where it sort of ends up really. And then I work with leaders a lot. I work with one-to-one with leaders. I work in group settings with leaders. And again, firstly, I diagnose what I actually think is going on. The organisation will usually give me a clue as to what they think is going on, but sometimes what I find and what they have spoken about is kind of very, very different. So mostly I work kind of behaviour with people, bringing to life what they actually want to do. And then today I'm going to talk about performance. So Aha Moment offers 3 programmes around, I'm very computer not literate, oh, wrong way. So, I'm going to talk a bit about personal resilience. And it's just a snapshot really of one of the programmes that I run, because clearly we've only got a short period of time. But there are 3 main programmes, and the first programme is around your own personal resilience levels and which bit of the energy dimensions actually add up to that. So the first one I want to talk about is spiritual, because people see that word and go, oh, we're talking about God, we're talking about ghosts, no we're not. What we're talking about is what's your purpose in life. So why do you do what you do? What is your kind of, what's your true north? Is it your kids? Is it your work? Is it, what is it? And I was really lucky that at the age of 11 I knew my purpose, which is quite unusual. I came home from school, my father was out on the city, completely laid out flat, and I thought he was joking. It wasn't. And my father had a nervous breakdown. He'd been told that his job was redundant. He hadn't told my mother. So he was a breadwinner. He was like in control. He's a scientist, and it was a big deal for him. So he's out, gone. So, curious child I was at 11. I still ask a lot of questions now. I said to his doctor, "What's wrong with him?" He said, "He's had a nervous breakdown." So 11-year-old, I don't know what I meant. So I come home, I get down, we didn't have internet back then, I get down the Encyclopedia Britannica children's version, nothing, car breakdown, well, that's clearly not it. I get the big one down, the big, volume down off the shelf, I open it up, I look in there, and it's got this thing about brains, about nervous breakdowns. That was it, I was fascinated. From that moment on, I was going to be a psychologist, there was no doubt about it. And I don't know, anybody who's a bit older in the audience, not many, might remember an advert on TVBT, and it said, oh, she's got an allergy. So for years, I was taunted by, when I got my 3 ology O-levels, my ology degree, my ology PG, you know, it was like, oh, she's got another ology. But here I am. So that's one thing to look at. What really is your purpose in life? And if you're living that, actually you're going to feel much better about yourself. Your stress levels will be lower if you're really doing what you're supposed to be doing. So in front of you is a survey. I just want you to take about 3 minutes just to razz through that, answer the question about yourself, and we'll link it back to what I'm talking about. Big figures. But we don't know if the report is correct or not. We don't know what the HSE will be reporting on. So those amounts of days that are lost, the amount of people that it affects, 526,000 people. Basically, the HSE says you have a duty of care as an employee to do something about resilience in your organisation and around stress. So they have got suggestions based on what they call 8 management standards, that you do something with teams in your organisation. And basically, based on their recommendations, we created a programme called Team Resilience, and we work with dysfunctional teams. So if a team reports, particularly one large company, if the team reports there's something going on, we will get in there, do some diagnostics, and then work with them for half a day to come up with some kind of solutions to actually improve what's going on. And we also run a programme for leaders. So that's about courageous conversations that need to be had in organisations, and people are really scared about talking about mental health. They're really scared to ask somebody what's going on with you. So it just gives us kind of a foundation to ask those questions and come up with something that might help them. But it's about asking them what's going to help you. You can't assume anything around mental health. So I'm going to ask you a question. Here's one version of what resilience actually is. But what else do you think it might be? Absolutely. And it's an ability to bounce back from situations that have been quite difficult. Anybody else? Absolutely, yeah. Okay. So what success means to one person is not what success means to another person. It's a very fluffy kind of, you know, what is your success measure? For me, it's being able to learn the lines to sing a song. If I'm asked to go and sing a song somewhere, for me it's learning the lines for this. I rarely work off actual bits of paper, it's in my head. So learning those lines for me is my success. So I can stand here and say this without really looking at anything. So just talking about how we work. So basically, the change starts with self, and this is kind of the premise of all of our work. So it's about asking the questions so that people understand what's going on with themselves. And then once you've got yourself sorted, then you can start to look at your team, and then you can start to look at your wider organisation. And I use this kind of constant curve. So we diagnose, we design something, we implement something, and then we look at whether embed it and look at whether it's really sustainable. And then if it's not really sustainable, we start going around the curve all over again. But as I say, when you start to work with a business, what they might want to start with might not be what actually what they finish with, because everything's moving and people's behaviours move all the time, so it isn't a kind of static process. So I just want you to look at this curve for a moment, and in terms of stress levels, somebody who is bored can be in rust out, which is totally the opposite of burnout. So you may have people who've been sat there for kind of 10, 15 years doing the same job, and they may feel as ill as somebody who actually is in burnout. So it's something to really kind of look at. And then the perfect place to be actually is between comfort and stretch. So you kind of oscillate between those two kind of areas. So stretch might be a place that you sit in for part of every day. But we're not asking someone to sit and stretch all of the time, because if they do, then they get to strain, oh well, my head goes on. So it's kind of a process. I had an interesting kind of experience with a guy not long ago, Paul Duncan's not Paul Duncan really, obviously, and he had been sat in his office for a whole month deleting emails and nobody noticed. He was the qualified person on the site, which means he sends the stuff out of this manufacturing place. And what happened, nobody noticed anything was wrong with him until the stuff started going out the door. And by the time I got to him, he was quite ill. And he doesn't remember leaving work on that day. He doesn't remember much leading up to other than deleting emails sat in his office. And he said, I can't go back now. So I actually walked with him back to the site entrance, and he said, no, I can't do it. So they gave him another job somewhere else. but the side effect of having been that ill is that the guy fell asleep. So you've been in a meeting with him, and the guy would literally, he got narcolepsy and would start to fall asleep. And ultimately they retired him on ill health. But we don't want anyone to get to that point, so it's really about what we're looking for when people are into strain. What kind of symptoms do we see in people? And it might be that they start to get really kind of irritated, they might start to yawn a lot. There are lots of physical symptoms that you can look up online which will help you to understand when somebody's actually in stretch permanently, and before they get to overwhelm when it's too late. So, I want to ask you a quick question. Whose energy level right now is at a 1? 1 is low, 5 is high. Good. 2, 3, okay. 4, excellent. 5. Okay. Only because my adrenaline's going unstuck here. If I was in 5 all day, we really would be needing to give you some antiseptic drugs. There'd be something to tell you. But ideally, we should be oscillating between 3 and 4 at any time. And the way we actually do that is through these different energy dimensions. If everything's aligned, our energy level should sit around 3 or 4 all the time. So, I'm going to ask you a question. On the survey that you just filled in, who's got a fairly low score in around physical energy? Okay. What do you think we could do to improve that?
Exercise more, a bit more water, nutritious snacks, all of them quite low.
They say that sitting is the new smoking. So if we don't get up from our desk and move, we're in trouble. And a lot of people, because it's so PC orientated in our work, that we may well sit there for 4, 5, 6 hours at a time. In call centres, one organisation I've been in, 6 hours without a break, and they have to put their hand up to go to the toilet. That's changed now, I might say. But can you imagine what was happening with those people literally not moving for that amount of time? And people do it, watch TV a lot, so again, they don't move for hours at a time. And it's probably about the worst thing you can do to yourself is to not get up and move. Some organisations have got desks like this and you can stand up to work, which is really cool. So it's just thinking about what am I doing in that physical energy dimension to actually keep myself healthy. So the main things are nutrition, water. In some organisations overseas, they all have this picture on the wall that says, what colour is your wee? And if it's this colour, drink now. So if it's gone brown, drink now because you're seriously in trouble. And so it's the nutrition, it's the water, it's the exercise, it's moving, and all of those things will bring your energy level back up to 3, 4. Oops. Okay. And when we talk about emotional energy, what are we actually talking about? So we're talking about EQ, which is not the same as IQ. So IQ is what we're inherently born with, so our level of intelligence that we're born with. And then EQ is about how we actually respond to people. So if 4 people received an email at the same time, one of them might find something offensive in it, and the other 3 might not actually see anything at all. And it's all about who are we kind of emotionally, and how can we teach ourselves, and mindfulness definitely comes into this, how can we teach ourselves not to react, but actually to respond to things, to not sort of, overreact to things, but keep ourselves at this sort of constant energy level. Sometimes it's really difficult when you're in a stressful job, not to kind of lose your rag and not to, but it's practice, it's just practice about, I'm not reacting to that, I'm literally going to respond to it in 3 days when I feel like it. So it's a difficult thing. Then the other thing is about how socially we actually interact with people. So the advent of the internet is a blessing and a curse. So recently a new phenomenon came to light which is called FOMO, fear of missing out. And it's a recognised psychological issue. It's like the addiction that some people got to alcohol, to drugs, etc., etc. And people are very worried about they can't see Facebook, they can't see LinkedIn, they can't see this, and as everything is driven through social media channels, it's a real kind of issue for people. But what has happened as a result of that is that people have lost the connection with other people. So I want you to think for a moment about who is it you actually need to connect with when you leave here maybe tonight, and what have you lost in just messaging? What actually is what has been lost in the kind of conversations that you have with people? So I'm just going to move swiftly on to mental energy. Who's got a low score in this area? Okay.
Lowest scoring one. I was the lowest scoring one for me in mental.
Okay. So what do you think you might need to do to kind of improve on that?
Set priorities, apparently. Try to multitask more or less?
Less. Okay. So I just want to try a little experiment with you. So when we talk about mental energy, we're talking about the ability to be creative. So if we are absolutely shattered about physical energy or any of the other energy dimensions are not at 3, we will find it very difficult to be creative. We will find it very difficult to concentrate. And there is this absolute fallacy in across the world that we can multitask. It's not true. Our brain is not equipped to multitask. If people say I'm a great multitasker, then that's not good. So if we try to multitask, what happens is we get distracted. And sometimes it can take up to 25 minutes to actually get back into the task you're actually firstly in. And it's difficult when you're leading because you'll be typing away emails. Sometimes you have IM, bing, alright, okay. Then somebody walks in the door and you're trying to do your work and somebody's trying to speak to you at the same time and trying to manage all that, you're not managing any of it. So I just want to try a little experiment with you. If you could get on your feet, please. That you cannot multitask. It's impossible. But people actually believe they can do it. So the two biggest barriers we've got around mental energy is one, multitasking. So if you set your kind of work out in a way that you know you're going to need an hour for that task, it's about how I'm going to get nobody to disturb me for an hour. How can I turn my email off? Can I turn my diary on? Can I make sure nobody comes in? Because I need that hour to complete this task. And then the second thing around mental energy is the voice in our head. I don't mean another voice, we're not talking about schizophrenia, we're talking about our own voice that we hear in our head. As stress builds, that voice gets a lot louder. So you'll notice if you're feeling a bit stressed out, just before you're going to go to sleep, you'll get a lot of messages into your mind, and some people can't switch off and that's it, they're in deep trouble. So in terms of kind of physical, the link between physical and mental energy, if you don't have a good sleep pattern, most people go bonkers because they don't get enough sleep. And what level of sleep you need differs because we're all absolutely uniquely individual. Some people just need one sleep cycle, so they can go into sleep, deep sleep, rapid eye movement, and that's it, that's their sleep done for the night. Other people might need 3-4 sleep cycles, it all depends who we are. But for sure, if we don't get enough sleep in that sleep patterns, we've got a problem. And one of the issues currently is that people even use mobile phones as an alarm clock. That blue light is guaranteed to wake you up like that. So TVs, devices, blue lights in your bedroom are things that wake you up again. Your body thinks, all right, your brain thinks it's time to wake up again. So your sleep's really disturbed. I know you can get an app on your phone that tells you how many sleep cycles you went through in one night. It's pretty cool. But the link between this and mental health is absolutely massive. So this little voice, it's like a man with a hammer. So as you're going off to sleep, he can wake up and he can deal with all your subconscious thoughts. And that's what we need when we're dreaming. We need that subconscious release of the stuff that's happening in the day, the conscious stuff that's happening in the day. And if we're not getting that, we've got a problem. But that becomes very loud when you're stressed and when you're trying to go to sleep. Who notices that voice is loud? It's like, shut up when you want to go to sleep. But it's very loud. But as stress gets higher, the voice gets louder. And people say they get this rapid cycle of thoughts when they're experiencing symptoms of stress. So that's one of the things actually to look out for. So that voice can be quite destructive as well. If you're not feeling A1, mentally A1, that voice can start to say things like, you can't do this. You can hear this, you know, you can't stand up and do that, you can't, you know. And it's about stopping that mental noise, that chatter, and thinking, you know, I can do it. But consciously saying it, because it shuts up the subconscious little man. Keep going. So I talked about spiritual energy earlier. Who's got a low score in this area? Who doesn't really know what purpose is? Okay. It's something to kind of reflect on, and again, you might not get the answer in this room right now because it is one of those aha moments. It really is. What am I supposed to be doing? What am I doing with my life? And is it about being the best version as a parent? Is it that I'm going to run a marathon and that's what I said I would do? What is it? It doesn't have to be work related, it can be anything at all. So some of the things to think about are, what does living this really kind of meaningful life mean to me? What is it? And thinking about what matters to me most and who am I at my best. So whilst I run this programme with organisations, the whole point of it is to keep the dimensions healthy and give some clue about how you can keep those done. But it's about a version of you at work and having enough energy to go home and deal with your home life. So it's absolutely that balance between work and home. And if you don't give yourself at a 3-4, then you go home and you're absolutely shattered. And one of the interesting things that I found over time, children are brilliant because when we think about the multitasking thing, for example, they're right in your face going, look at me, watch me. And you've got no chance at all but to be absolutely there with them. But it's about getting the energy level right through the day so that you've got enough for that when you get home. You know, they get the best version of you as well. Okay, I'm just going to talk a bit about recovery and how will people recover. Who's got a low score in this area? Okay. It's one of the key, that's normal. People don't think about how they're going to recover from everything they've got to deal with. Our lives are so bonkers and so full of stresses and strain that we don't really think about what is it we need to do to actually recover. I think, and that's definitely my way of getting rid of the stress I've got, you know, and the focus I've got to have to actually learn lines and all that stuff. So, but it's just finding that one thing. What is that one thing that's going to help you recover better? In order to actually come up with a new habit, most of what we actually do is completely unconscious, so we don't even know we're doing it. Probably only about 5% is actually conscious. So to create a new habit, so if you're not recovering well, what is it you need to do? And then actually building that into your life takes between 30 to 90 days. So you've got to keep doing it every day for 30 to 90 days. It's like stopping smoking. If you keep at it, it will eventually sort of sink in and I don't smoke anymore. So, but we are creatures of habit. We probably even driving to work, probably do the same route every day, even though there might be a critical one, we do that route because that's the route we've always done. So it's thinking about what is it I need to change and how am I actually going to achieve it. And the Human Performance Institute have got this wonderful quote about you give life to whatever you give energy to. And I'm just going to share a quick video with you if I can, which is quite about this idea of excellent.
A few years ago, I felt like I was stuck in a rut. So I decided to follow in the footsteps of the great American philosopher, Morgan Spurlock, and try something new for 30 days. The idea is actually pretty simple. Think about something you always wanted to add to your life and try it for the next 30 days. It turns out 30 days is just about the right amount of time to add a new habit or subtract a habit, like watching the news, from your life. There's a few things that I learned while doing these 30-day challenges. The first was, instead of the months flying by forgotten, the time was much more memorable. This was part of the challenge I did to take a picture every day for a month. And I remember exactly where I was and what I was doing that day. I also noticed that as I started to do